United 2, Luton 1. Two early goals from Hojlund are enough for United to come away with all 3 points at Kenilworth Road. On a weekend where Tottenham dropped points and slipped from 4th to 5th, United had a chance coming into this match to cut the gap on Tottenham to 3 points with a win. If you're looking to make up ground in the Premier League for any reason, whether you're getting out of relegation zone, whether you're in a title battle, or if you're like United trying to get into the top 4, you need to take advantage when the teams ahead of you slip up, and United did just that today. Tottenham are on 47 points currently. United were on 41 points. Now they're on 44. And with Tottenham out of action this weekend, United, if they win in the next match, they can go level with Tottenham on 47 points, even though they would stay in 6th because of goal difference. This was a classic trap game. United won 4 in a row. They were traveling to play lowly, recently promoted 17th place Luton, who came in on 20 points and 1 point above the relegation zone. But this doesn't tell the whole story about Luton. This is a team who's played much better, especially in their last 10 games. They've played all 3 of the top 3 teams at home, and they, played very well against all of them. Liverpool walked out of there with a draw, and they needed a 96-minute goal to do so. Arsenal, they won there, but it was a 4-3 barn burner, and Arsenal needed a 97th minute goal to get that 4th and winning goal. And then against Man City, they were up 1-0 going into the 63rd minute before City scored 2 goals to win the match. So Luton has played tough teams at home very well, and United is always a game that teams are up and ready for. My second key takeaway, and this one might be a little controversial, the game plan was successful. I won't pretend like I was happy the whole match. At certain points, it almost felt like United were losing the way we were ceding possession, and that little bit of dread that has developed this year started to creep into my stomach. But if you really think about it, Luton only scored 1 somewhat lucky goal and didn't really create any big chances. United, on the other hand, they turned the ball over. They turned Luton over high in their own half multiple times, and they were able to create several big chances on the counter, and arguably probably could have won 4-1 or 5-1 based on the chances that United had. United's plan this season has always been to be a transition team, and they showed that they can be deadly even without control. And at the end of the day, United had an XG of 2.81 to Luton's 1.74. Not a huge difference, but if you look at the big chances, United created 4 big chances to Luton's 1. We were the better team when it counted and created those chances in front of goal. You could argue United weren't as clinical as they should have been, but you can't argue that the game plan didn't put us in the best chance to succeed today. My third and most depressing key takeaway, injuries remain an issue. Lisandro Martinez is out until, I think, mid-April, which is a huge bummer considering how well he played when he came back. He would have been great in a game like this today where we struggled to get possession, where Luton was pressing well. Someone like Lisandro Martinez, who's similar to Mainoo as a player who can get the ball, break lines either with passing or dribbling, he would have made a big difference in the game today. But Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire, with Martinez's replacement, both were injury scratches at or around halftime. And the lack of squad depth at fullback is apparent as well, with Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Tyrell Malacia out with injuries as well. I know both of those players are supposed to be back in the next couple weeks, and I think playing 1 game a week means we can get away with it, throwing in a Lindelof at left back, bringing in Johnny Evans, maybe Kambwala. But, it's really going to limit our potential moving forward if we can't have 2 or 3 of those injured fullbacks back sooner rather than later. We need to be able to rotate Delo occasionally, as well as have someone who can play left back, who is actually a left back and can, combine with Rashford or Garnacho on the left wing. As far as player performance, 30 seconds into the match, Hojlund became the youngest player ever to score 6 consecutive Premier League matches, And then he scored a second goal. This kid's absolutely on fire, and he's looking like more and more of a complete striker every day. The way he's able to come deep, combine with the wingers and the midfielders, hold up the ball, as well as get in behind and run the channels. Really excited about this kid's potential. Rashford and Garnacho both probably should have scored today, but they look dangerous all match. A little bit better decision-making here and there. Rashford maybe placing his shots a little bit better. Garnacho not taking that extra touch or just, trying to score immediately when he gets the ball instead of rounding the keeper when Rashford played him in with a beautiful pass. But again, both of those guys look very dangerous today. Both of them, I think, created chances, and they both were looking for their teammates, and they put in a shift defensively as well. So can't really get too mad at either of them. Mainoo, he looked great as usual. Honestly, he's the only midfielder who looks comfortable on the ball under pressure, especially when we were trying to control the match. I thought Casemiro was a bit unlucky with his first yellow and then was lucky not to get sent off when he probably should have gotten a second yellow. It still feels like he's being targeted by the Premier League refs, and I think it's starting to play on his head a little bit. Hopefully, he can shake that off and get back to his best, next week when we play Fulham at home. And then Amrabat and McTominay came on. McTominay came on at halftime, mostly just ran around and was a body, didn't really do much. Amrabat had a couple nice clearances, but didn't really do much to justify any more playing time. Delo, and the defense wasn't quite as sharp as he's been lately, but he was pretty good. Varane, I would say, was our best defender. He had some great headers in the box and some clearances, and I think he was instrumental in keeping the score just to 1. Lindelof and Evans came on for Maguire and Shaw. I thought Maguire and Shaw were okay in the first half, but honestly, I thought we looked better on the ball in the second half when we had Lindelof and Evans. Not sure what that means, but I think it's kind of a good sign that we can replace those two and mostly be the team that we want to be. But obviously, we still need reinforcements at fullback, at center back, to be the team that I think Ten Hag wants us to set up to be. And as far as keeper, Onana I thought was fine. He didn't have a ton to do as far as saves, but I thought his distribution was really good today, and I don't think there was much he could do with the goal. I think it was a little fluky. There was a deflection and then a good header. I mean, maybe you can make the argument he has to run in there and clear everybody out, but he chose to make himself big instead, which I don't think is the wrong decision necessarily, and I don't think it was really on him. Plus, his distribution, like I said, was really good today. He had a really good pass to Bruno that led to a chance, and then he had another pass, I think, to Hojlund that led to a chance as well. So starting to look a little bit better as a sweeper keeper and a ball-playing keeper, and didn't really have much to do defensively. Moving forward, United play Fulham at home on Saturday. Like I said, with Tottenham off this weekend, a win would see United draw level with Tottenham on points for 5th place. I think this is pretty amazing, especially when you consider when we saw Tottenham a month ago, United were, I think, 8 points behind Tottenham and in 8th or 9th place. Tottenham were in 4th or 5th. And the idea that we would be able to catch them this quickly almost seemed like fantasy at the time. But, let me know your thoughts, right? I'm here. I'm still Team Relentless Positivity. So far, the second half of the season has played out mostly as I predicted. Not saying I got a crystal ball or anything like that, but United having one match a week, having some injury, having some players back from injury, some injury relief, and being able to play against the schedule. United have won the games they needed to win so far. And with the win at Fulham, they, basically did their job in this schedule, in 2024 so far. Do you think this is a sign of things to come? Do you think United has what it takes to push on and to get into top 4, make sure they have that Champions League football going into next year? Or do you think that, this was sort of an easy part of the schedule? They did exactly what they should have done. And when they start playing the better teams, that they're going to look to drop points. I personally, like I said, I'm Team Relentless Positivity. I think this is what we needed to kind of get a little bit back on track, develop the defensive resiliency that we've seen to give up a goal, not necessarily to go 1-0 down or whatever, but like to give up a lead. We gave up a lead at Villa last week. Today we were 2-0 very early in the match. We let them get control. They scored a goal. I feel like months ago, beginning of the year, first half of the season, that was a sign United were about to collapse. United, even with injuries, without having everyone back, have shown the grit to kind of stay in the match and see it through. So that's why I think United are going to push on. You know, they're going to win a few games that'll probably surprise us. They'll probably drop points between here and the end of the season. But I think the teams ahead of us will as well. So I think United are poised to make that run for top 4. But, you know, get your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you think I'm crazy or not. And look out for more content in the future. Oh yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe as well. Up the Reds.